Good morning, dear friends. Pleased to be here on this pleasant morning. The responsibility that has been given to me is to discuss about the public hospital model. Today, I drive the private sector as a CEO of one of the health services, but 29 years of my life I have spent in public health. And it would be right if I may say today that today my head works for private sector, but my heart still beats for public hospitals. If I may just summarize the entire conference in one sentence, public hospitals never treat healthcare as a commodity, and they provide for basic and more than basic human needs of health in this country. That is what public health sector is. Dear friends, Padma Bhushan Dr. Udwadia, my teacher, coined a beautiful sentence in one of his articles, and he said, hospitals like JJ, KEM, our public hospitals, are the real places of pilgrimage for doctors. Here you find patients on the bed, under the bed, and in between the bed. And it is this that makes best of surgeons, best of physicians, and best of oncologists who are today driving the healthcare of India. This report came last week, dear friends, in DNA. And what I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes is, don't give you any figures. I'm not a merchant of statistics, every inch still a surgeon. But I'm going to give you my analytical deductions of where the shoe pinches in public health and what we need to do to improve upon this model. And what did DNA say? It brought about certain obstacles and perils in the system. This is what I experienced in the last 29 years. Ever increasing numbers. We talk of bed occupancy. These are the hospitals where bed occupancy ratios exceed 100%. And you get one patient in the morning, he goes home in the afternoon, and you get two more in the evening to occupy the same bed. That is the bed occupancy. But the reason for this is complete collapse of referral pyramids. And patients who should not come to the tertiary level public hospitals are seen, admitted, and treated there. There is corruption in bureaucracy as well as in medicine. Technology dominance in the last 2 decades has tilted the balance, and that has led to escalating cost of healthcare dispensing in public as well as in private sector. In addition to that, there is tremendous amount of attrition in human resources, trained nurses, trained good consultants. It's easy and a populistic announcement to say that we are inaugurating a new medical college. It knows how difficult for a dean is to get the right kind of qualified people to drive that medical college. And then there is a widening gap in the remuneration in public and private sector. That is the root cause of this attrition. The last 5 years have seen increasing indulgence in legal issues at various levels, and that cannot be forgotten. So what's best for us? Whether the government should be spending more and more for our public health, or should subsidize, like our Brazilian colleague very rightly said, that it is the public-private partnership models which seems to be the future for subsidizing. Let me do some amount of hard hitting to my public health sector friends, which includes even me. We always wondered who moved my cheese, and the fact is that nobody has moved it. It's your own fault. If I may say, what's the difference in my life in public sector and private sector healthcare administration? I now run an organization which talks in millions of US dollars in our new projects. The decisions are laid to the CEO with a complete sense of accountability. In public sector, I think there is a complete absence of accountability at individual levels, and that's where the shoe is pinching. Complete binding about the dimensions of finance to run and the cost that are involved in it. Complacency and mediocrity is the rule. Oh, I've got my job. Nothing is going to touch me till 62 years of life. That is the problem. And then there is a eroding disintegration of values of teaching, service, and love. So dear friends, it's time to share. When we take initiatives and reach out to people who are not able to reach us, we must be able to hear the unspoken word and wipe out an unshed tear if you want to run a good public health system. We must evolve ourselves into a teamwork and leave aside the competitive things that if I buy 1.5 Tesla, you will buy a 3 Tesla. We must take efficiency and empathy both together, and communication and courtesy should become the watchword in public health. And for that, we will have to change the attitude and approach. Agree that there is a need of competition, even in public health sector. My organization, my hospital, my medical school should be better than yours. Focus on those things which have never been measured. How many times have we done an exit interview of a patient to say what was right and what was wrong for him? He would not complain of nursing and surgical care, but he would complain of a lot of other things which we never cared for. Make courtesy as an important landmark that the hospital would run with. And you must perform to improve and not to impress upon somebody who is sitting on you. And to achieve this, you must know how to decentralize, give powers at lower levels, and get into a culture of saying yes when you are doing service. But the most important thing, stop blaming everything on numbers. Numbers is our strength and not our weakness. These are some of the thoughts that have been in my mind when I build new hospitals now. A hotel component of a hospital is very important, and it is true even for a public health sector. So I must build a sarai or a hotel within a hospital facility that would help me in getting my average length of stay of a patient in the ward less. And he would still be at a beck and call of a doctor within few meters if you build such a sarai facility for a public hospital. Daycare facilities must increase. We have to drop the culture of wards. We must do more and more as daycare work, and intensive care unit beds must increase. That is a need. Why not share a hospital kitchen between 3 or 4 hospitals? Like an airline industry shares a kitchen between 3 or 4 airlines, what prohibits us from taking this step for a kitchen? Outsource whenever it is possible, and procurement policies need to be revisited almost every second or third year. So you have to think out of the box and act flexibly. Public hospitals will be in touch with regulatory authorities. For example, medical schools will be affiliated to MCI. And therefore, our voices must be heard over there. And the regulatory authorities will also have to come out of their age-old thinking that dermatology also needs a ward of 30 beds. Sharing of ultra-cost equipment like PET scan, like MRs, lasers, robotics is also a thing. Simulation laboratories is also a thing that public sector must think of. And obviously, undoubtedly, PPP models must evolve. In short, I have to put forth for a step towards frugal medical health care, like frugal engineering. We know that there is scarcity, but we must have a habit of seeking abundance in this scarcity. We must be value conscious to whatever we are delivering. And we must know that we have to subserve a huge and a diverse population in this particular country. And that's possible only through public health sector. This is a beautiful book. For those who have not read, please read it. It says if Disney ever ran your hospital, 9.5 things that you would do differently. I say you don't work in Disney, you just walk in the park. Similarly, you don't work in the hospital, you live in there. That's the concept which needs to evolve amongst administrators and even to the serving consultants. This is a message to all my administrator colleagues as well as to my consultant colleagues. You need to market healthcare. Don't sell it. I don't want to say it ever as a commodity, but I want to market the concept. There's a difference in selling commodity and marketing a concept. You must trace on the society and pass on the concept of ownership of these things when it comes to preventive aspects of cardiology, diabetes, and orthopedic care. Community medicine, of late in India, is becoming as or perhaps more important, and is a choice of many youngsters to choose that branch as their postgraduate career than the clinical thing, and it's a welcome change in my opinion. Hospital must step out of boundaries. When I was director of KEM, and I'm proud to say that that tradition still continues, come monsoon months, and the entire municipal corporation machinery was put into peripheral camps and doing camps in unorganized dwelling sectors of this city. I know that there are people who are not able to even reach our so-called free hospitals, and therefore it is the duty of the hospital to step out and go up to them and give them the necessary care. Research must become a part of promotional avenues for my postgraduate doctors, because unless and until you do PhD, write a thesis, or work on some hypothesis, you're not going to see good quality research work in this country. And you must create isolated centers of excellence, like hepatobiliary work, like transplant activities, like infectious diseases, and so many other things that the country needs. I believe that we should become financially sustainable, but I believe that every new development, whether it is robotics or a new molecule, or whatever new things, it must first come to the public sector hospital only, because that makes the doctors for tomorrow. So for all these things, where does the money come from? And I have some ideas on my own. Direct tax component, and that will have a bearing on the GDP sharing, which we may discuss after some time. An indirect tax component, which all of us pay, should be diverted. Insurance sector has to broaden its base. Welfare social schemes like Rajiv Gandhi Yojana and so many other things that are prevalent must broaden up. We must agree that there can be no free lunch in health sector. And that once you accept, you are able to do things. Research and endowments, professorial chairs being sponsored by pharmaceuticals and trade, this is a necessity. An isolated department of excellence, like my alma mater, KEM Hospital, should be given an autonomy to function and raise their own finances. That's a need of the hour. Dear friends, this is my last slide. It's a wonderful book of engineering that you do jugaad in India. It's time that we build jugaad hospitals to run our public health.